It's gritty, come from behind wins like this that the Giants are pulling out left and right and proving every day that they are legitimately a good team.
You are Locked On Giants, your daily San Francisco Giants podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Giants, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. My name is Ben Kaspick, and on the show we provide daily episodes Monday through Friday, talking about the San Francisco Giants in a way that's data-driven and rational, but also simple, passionate, and accessible to all. I'm a former contributor for the baseball statistics and analysis websites Beyond the Box Score and RotoGraphs. I've been podcasting about the Giants since 2015, hosting this show for over 6 years, and I'm a lifelong Giants fan. Thank you for making Locked On Giants your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube, where there's video. Check us out there if you have not already, and please hit that subscribe button wherever it is that you're following the show. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. And coming up on today's show, we are going to get into the Giants winning 3 out of 4 against a good Brewers team in the middle of this grueling stretch of 17 consecutive games without an off day. And they're playing good teams too. Like, the Brewers are a good team. And the Giants just won 3 out of 4. This one, honestly, was looking like a loss in the finale. And yet they pull it out. And what's crazy to me, not necessarily crazy, but the thing is, it would have been like, not that you ever want to lose, but like if they lost that game, it would have been like, okay, you split a series. It's tough to win 3 out of 4, especially against a talented team. And you split and you turn the page, and it wouldn't have been that big of a deal considering they won game 1 of the series and they won game 3 of the series. And Logan Webb was excellent in game 3 of the series. He went 6 1/3, 6 strikeouts, no runs. The bullpen picked up the slack. Ryan Walker struggled again. Camilo Doval shut the door, and he shut the door in the finale. But it didn't turn out that way, where you lost today and made it a split. Instead, the Giants overcame a 5-2 deficit and won this game and won 3 out of 4 to improve to 17-9, 1.5 games out for the best record in baseball, and just half a game behind the Padres for first place in the National League West. So the Giants are good. That's the conclusion. The Giants are good. Like 5-2 against the Brewers, and just the tenacity to come back. So Landa Roop, he did not have his best stuff at all in this game. His stuff was just a little bit flat to me. He went 3 2/3, allowed 5 runs, 4 earned, 3 walks, only 2 strikeouts, 6 hits allowed, but the bullpen scoreless. So 3 2/3 from Roop, and then the bullpen the rest of the way. 2 from Bivens, 1 1/3 from Eric Miller, 1 inning, 3 strikeouts from Tyler Rogers, and then Camilo Doval overcoming issues again with command, but was able to shut the door in a 1-run game. And so this game really, like, it turned, I think, on Matt Chapman hitting a home run when they were down 5-2 that made it 5-4, a 2-run homer that followed, I believe it was a Jung Hoo Lee walk. So Jung Hoo Lee is right in the middle of everything for the Giants. And I'm just trying to verify that was how it went down. Yeah, Jung Hoo Lee walked to lead off the inning, and then Matt Chapman homered. And this is against Abner Uribe. This was a pitch that was over 100 miles an hour. Like, you know, when they show just a whole number, they'll round. So if it's 99.6, that'll show on the score bug or whatever as 100, as it should. That's correct rounding. But this pitch was actually over 100, and it was the only pitch all year by anybody in baseball to have been homered upon that was over 100 miles an hour, which to me is shocking. And it just goes to show you why the game values so much guys who throw really hard. But the other thing is that it was the hardest pitch hit for a homer by a Giants player since pitch tracking began back in 2008. So almost 20 years. So that's just extremely impressive. It was just to the right of center field for Chapman. He just kind of barreled it up where it was thrown. And so, Matt Chapman is just such a steady presence on both sides of the ball. And that was a huge home run that just completely changed the feel of that game from, 5-2 to 5-4. It's just a huge difference there. And then it remained 5-4 going into the bottom of the eighth when the Giants put together what I call just a team rally. Like, it wasn't just, okay, you're relying on your Aaron Judge in the middle of the lineup to hit a 2-run homer. It was like they scratched and clawed and fought their way to 2 runs in the bottom of the eighth. And we're going to break that whole inning down here. So Tyler Fitzgerald led it off, fell behind 1-2, and worked a walk. So that was a great plate appearance by Tyler Fitzgerald to get things started. And then Wilmer Flores, getting a day off, was utilized in a perfect spot, hitting against a lefty for Sam Huff. And Wilmer Flores got into a 2-strike count. And it just seems like when he's going well, he can at will do this, where he just hit the ball where the defenders were not. Like, there was an open right side of the infield. Broadcasters say all the time, and fans, they should just hit it where nobody's standing. It's not that easy. If you could do that, you would do that. But it's not that easy. But sometimes it looks that easy for Wilmer Flores. He just hit it where nobody was. And so this guy, Wilmer Flores, who a lot of people all off season, when I'm doing mailbags and just reading comments on Twitter, not nobody, but a lot of people didn't even want Wilmer Flores anywhere near the Giants, even though it was like a $3.5 million salary that he was going to be making this year. Well, where would this team be without Wilmer Flores? They would not be 17-9. I mean, he's just been unbelievable. And so he singles, and the speed of Fitzgerald, which is something, all of a sudden, this is a much more athletic team when you've got guys like Fitzgerald on your team. And the Giants have been a really good base running team. And that includes, what I mean by that is going first to third. And Fitzgerald was able to do that on that single. So all of a sudden it's first and third, nobody out, tying run on third. Luis Matos hit a ball hard, but it was right to the third baseman and it made a nice play. Christian Koss, who pinch ran for Wilmer Flores, was able to get to second. That was actually low-key, kind of big. I feel like they could have got the out at second, but they went to first. So it's second and third with 1 out. And then Mike Yastrzemski's up, and he's facing a lefty. And this is a spot in previous years. I know they started Luis Matos, so maybe they didn't have the ability to pinch hit for Yastrzemski, but still, Yastrzemski facing a lefty in just a huge situation after homering earlier in the game. He also singled and had a walk, I believe. And then he just battled. It was an at-bat that went, how many pitches did this one go? Why is it not showing? Here we go, the pitch by pitch. So it was a 7-pitch at-bat, only 1 ball. So he just fouled off a lot of pitches. He hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 foul balls, and then ended up poking a pitch that was out of the zone to second base. And the speed of Fitzgerald once again came into play as the second baseman Terang threw home. There's no force out because it was second and third. Wouldn't have been a force out even if it was first and third, but no force out. They come home with it. Infield is in, but the speed of Fitzgerald is able to come in and tie that game. Throw was a little bit high, and Fitzgerald just slid home and was safe rather easily. So all of a sudden, you've got a tie game. The Brewers make a pitching change. They go to Trevor McGill, and on that play, when they got no outs, Christian Koss got to third, and so it's first and third with Willie Adames coming up against his former team in a tie game in the bottom of the eighth, 1 out. And what did he do to come through? We will get into it. We'll get into how this game wrapped up, the drama in the ninth, the excellent performance by Logan Webb and what's changed dramatically with Webb this season, and much more in just a minute. And before we do, Today's episode of Locked on Giants is brought to you in part by Amazon Fire TV. Did you know that your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices, no console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe or sign in to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Avowed as easily as you stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. Play high-quality Xbox games at a fraction of the cost of a console. If you already have a console, a Fire TV Stick device is more affordable and easier to travel with, allowing you to take your or your kids' games wherever you play. So for me, I'm not a huge gamer, but also with the 4K Fire TV 4K stick devices, you can stream more than 1.5 million movies and TV episodes with services like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Max, and more. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required, available on select devices including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd Gen. All right, here we go. We set the stage for you with Willie Adames coming up against his former team. It's been a struggle of a season. There's no doubt about it for Willie Adames. One thing I do want to mention is that he is definitely having better at-bat quality, even though the results aren't always there. Like maybe the at-bat doesn't end well, but like to me, it's the way he's taking pitches. He's recognizing, you can just tell that he's recognizing pitches out of the hand much better. And it's the takes that he's having, and even in that at bat that ultimately he came through in. I think that it's the takes that show me more than anything that he's getting his swing back. And so little by little, and in this game, ultimately he does pick up a hit, he does pick up a walk, and he ultimately gets a sacrifice fly. Now, initially they ruled no RBI, which to me, that makes it not a sacrifice fly. It makes it just a 0 for 1 with no RBI. So I don't really care about RBIs, but I do care that you should get rewarded with a sac fly, which is a 0 for 0. It doesn't count as an at bat. It doesn't count against your batting average when you hit a sac fly. So this was a huge situation where a sac fly is really what you're trying to do. And Adames just had a great at-bat against some nasty pitches. So if you look at the kind of pitch by pitch number 1 was a called strike at 99 right on the corner, low and away. So, of course, he's not swinging at that. Pitch number 2 was just a hair lower at 99, and he took it. So, again, that's pitch recognition, patience, not trying to do too much in a situation where you can definitely get overly aggressive. Pitch number 3 was a 100-mile-an-hour fastball in that he took. Pitch number 4 was a foul ball at 99, but it was out over the plate. And so he swung. It was the first swing, and it was the best pitched hit by far of the at-bat. And then pitch number 5 with 2 strikes is a 100.1-mile-an-hour fastball up around the chest, and that is easy to chase. And in that situation, to not swing at that pitch is just huge. And then pitch number 6, low, but in the strike zone. Low and in, but in the strike zone. And it was 99.0 miles an hour, and he lined it to left. He hit it 100.4 miles an hour. So it came in at 99, and it went out at 100. And so, it's just a great at-bat. And technically, it doesn't count as an at-bat because it shouldn't, because it's a sacrifice fly. And so it's a great plate appearance. But so they I guess they changed the ruling. There was an error on the play by Christian Yelich, who just dropped the ball. So the reason I was getting upset there was because they ruled it just a straight error, no RBI, meaning like Yelich was going to throw out Christian Koss, which, I said on Twitter, Yelich is a pie thrower. He does not have a good arm. And Christian Koss is fast. Like, you just can't, he was going to go. There, in that situation, it was a medium deep line drive. It was a line drive. And you're going to challenge him there with a fast runner. There's just no way you're not going to challenge him. And you can't assume the out, just like you can't, it would have been a double play, and you can't assume the double play, blah, blah, blah. So big overturn there to call that. I'm just defending my guy here, Willie, for not getting it, no RBI, 0 for 1 on that. Like, he totally earned the kind of driving in that run. And so that gave him the lead, and it was dropped by Yelich. The error allowed Yastrzemski to go to second and Adames to reach. So that was the error part, but the run scoring would have happened anyway, in my opinion, and finally in the opinion of the official scorer. So Giants end up taking the lead. Camilo Doval comes in and can't throw a strike. It's either he can or he can't. Like, there's really no black and white here for Doval. Often he got Ryan Walker out of a big jam last night, but then to start this game, 4 straight pitches, if you look at them, they were all way out of the strike zone, low and away to the right-handed hitting Durbin. And then next hitter Terang, first pitch ball, second pitch ball. So that's ball 6. And then finally, there's a meeting on the mound, and it's initiated by Willie Adames. And Willie Adames comes in, and then everybody comes in. And so I think that, Mike Krukow made a great point, which is that sometimes he was a pitcher, of course, Krukow, and he says you can feel alone out there, like you're on an island, when you can't find the strike zone and you're just standing out there by yourself. But to have your teammates come in, it can kind of remind you, we've got your back. Like, we're all pulling for you. We're here behind you. Like, just throw it over the plate and see what happens. And we got 9 or 8 guys standing around out here, including the catcher. And I don't know what they said, but whatever they said, it worked, because Doval threw the third pitch for a called strike. Fourth pitch was a swinging strike, and then he got a fly out in the strike zone. So 3 straight pitches in the strike zone, and then he got Sal Frelick, first pitch ball, second pitch in the strike zone, fly out, and then Christian Yelich singled. He did throw some balls. One pitch kind of maybe should have been called a strike, actually. That inside corner to lefties was not called a strike all day long, but it was a strike. Anyway, he ends up facing Rhys Hoskins to finish out the game, throws him a slider well placed down and away, and Hoskins hits it just 83 miles an hour, 45-degree launch angle. That's just routine to Jung Hoo Lee in center. And the Giants finish off a 6-5 comeback win. So down 5-2, 4 unanswered runs. And it's just, to me, in the middle of this brutal stretch, 17 games in a row without an off day, starting on the 11th, and now we're on the 24th, and they're still going, and they've got 3 more days before an off day, and then they're back on the road, just 2 in San Diego, and then they come home for 4. But still, it's a tough stretch, and yet they're playing tougher. It's a tough stretch, and yet the Giants are playing tougher than they're not letting it get to them. And I think in some years past, we've heard that there was like complaining basically by the players about the difficulty of the schedule and the travel and all that. But it is what it is, and like, you've got to overcome it, or else you deal with the consequences and you struggle, and it just is what it is. You've got to overcome it. And right now, taking 3 out of 4 after losing 2 out of 3 to the Angels in the fashion that they did, winning this Logan Webb start, he was fantastic, but Ryan Walker got dicey in the 9th. I don't know. I'm just feeling good about where this Giants team is at right now through 25 games on the season. So it's kind of a milestone moment, 25 games. Quarter of a way to 100, so a long way to go, but 16-9, everybody would have taken that to start the year. So my next focus is going to be on Logan Webb and just how he has evolved and changed for the better, when I say evolved, I guess that's kind of a given. But what's fascinating to me about Logan Webb is the strikeouts. So, and also the changing repertoire. And so he just continues to dominate. And now on the season, he has a 1.98 ERA, a 2.93 expected ERA, a 1.79 fielding independent pitching. Got these other numbers like Sierra, SI ERA, 2.51. It's the ERA equivalent number. Expected fielding independent pitching, 2.10. And what's driving this? Largely a huge increase in strikeout rate. Last year it was 20.5%, and he was still really good. This year it's 31%, 30.8. And he's doing it with a changed repertoire. If you look at what he's throwing this year, it's very different than what he's thrown in years past. He's added a pitch in that cutter. Let's see. I'm trying to find the pitch usage numbers. They kind of can be hidden here on FanGraphs. So he is throwing the cutter 10% of the time, whereas he just dabbled with it in previous years, only threw it 2.5% of the time last year. The sinker is the same at 39 point something percent. Slider is up from last year. The changeup is down to 17% from 31 last year and 42 the previous year. And he's also throwing the four-seam fastball more. But it's really that cutter that he's throwing more. So he's throwing, it's just a changed repertoire, and he throws the cutter in and up, and he throws the fastball up. And so it just gets guys off of all the downward moving pitches that he has. And it's just been very effective. And it's like he's continuing his heavy ground ball ways, but he's also able to get strikeouts. So that's just a new and improved version of Logan Webb. And every time he goes out there, he's just showing off. I mean, he gave up 3 runs in his first start in 5 innings, 1 run in 7 innings in his second start, no runs in 7 innings in his third start, 3 runs in 5 innings at the Yankees, and then 1 earned run in 6 innings against the Angels, and then 0 earned runs in 6 1/3, 0 runs period against the Brewers. So yeah, just all in all, a great start to the season for Webb. So we'll wrap it up with the talk about the 9th inning getting a little bit dicey with Ryan Walker struggling. It's kind of a reverse of last year, and Dval stepping in to save the day, whereas the opposite happened last year. And also just Jung Hoo Lee emerging at bat by at bat, play by play in center as a star. We'll get to it in just a minute, and before we do, today's episode of Locked on Giants is brought to you in part by Game Time. There's just nothing better than catching an MLB game live. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, the smell of the garlic fries. And if you're looking to go last minute, Game Time makes getting tickets easier than ever. With last minute deals, all-in pricing, and a lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the stress out of buying MLB tickets. Plus, ticket prices drop as Game Time gets closer, meaning you can score an incredible deal. Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Locked On, and as the Rangers come into town, you've got the Brandon Crawford ceremony coming up. I can count on them to help grab tickets that meet my needs, and I just love that you can preview your seat before you buy, and that lowest price guarantee. Those are my favorite things. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, here we go. We're going to finish up by discussing the emergence of Jung Hoo Lee as a star, but first, the 9th inning and how it's suddenly gotten a little bit dicey, even though the Giants bullpen as a whole is really good. It's just that 9th inning has suddenly become a little bit of an issue. If we look at the Giants relievers, if we look at just bullpen ERA, Giants are 4th at 2.69 coming into today, before they went however many scoreless innings, that would be 5 1/3 scoreless. So that's going to go down. But the ninth inning has gotten dicey. Ryan Walker came in to Logan Webb's game. The Logan Webb start, it was 4-0 going to the ninth, and Walker came in. Walker came into a 4-0 game. I am not someone who's going to come here and say, oh, it wasn't a save situation, you shouldn't have used him. I totally don't agree with that thinking at all. But Ryan Walker comes in, he gives up a single to Rhys Hoskins. He strikes out Garrett Mitchell. He gives up a single to Jake Bauers, and then he hits Caleb Durbin with a pitch. So this is the second time we have seen Ryan Walker hit a batter in a ninth inning in very recent memory. It happened in Anaheim, and then he gave up a ground rule double. So it's the second time we've seen a double hit against him, too, in a big situation with guys on base. So it scored 2 runs. It put the tying run on second base, and with just 1 out. So stressful, very stressful situation. All of a sudden, the Brewers have a legitimate chance in this game. And then, to his credit, Bob Melvin learned the first time and said, you know what, I'm not going to just watch this train wreck. I'm going to bring somebody else in who's potentially going to have it. And Camilo Doval brought it right from the start. So that's what I'm saying. Strike 1, strike 2, strike 3. 3 pitches. You got Jackson Chourio out swinging. Slider, slider, slider. See ya. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night for out number 2. And then Christian Yelich comes up. I mean, these are dangerous hitters to face with the tying run on second base. And he gets a called strike on a perfectly dotted up and away cutter. And then the second pitch is a perfectly placed dotted down and in cutter at 100. And he gets Yelich to ground out to second. So Doval did a great job coming in to save Walker. Last year, it was the reverse. It took longer into the season, and I still totally think Ryan Walker can rebound from this. But right now, Walker is struggling, and they're going to Doval. But it's a nice problem to have. It's not even a problem, but it's a nice thing to have when you've got 2 guys who have closed at a very high level as options in your bullpen. And you've also got Tyler Rogers, who could easily close games, and you've got Randy Rodriguez, who I think is being underused. Still hasn't allowed a run on the season, Randy Rodriguez, nor has he allowed a walk. His strikeout rate is leading the Giants at 37%. Next closest is Hayden Birdsong at 25% in terms of the bullpen. So I'd like to see Randy Rodriguez get a better role than just like coming in with runners on base, which is the role that he's somehow fallen into. But with guys struggling like Ryan Walker, I'd like to see Randy Rodriguez more prominently featured. Maybe Birdsong becomes that guy. I don't know. But anyway, it's just nice that Doval has been able to step in as Ryan Walker has struggled, and I'm sure we'll see Walker figure it out, and then who knows how it plays out. But lastly, just more about Jung Hoo Lee. Just every single day, this guy is proving more and more that he's not just like a solid major leaguer, but he's a potential star major leaguer. So he just had another good game today. He drew 2 walks. He hit another double that tied him for the major league lead in doubles. He's just a doubles machine. It was his 11th double of the season. He's got 2 triples and 3 homers. So that's 16 extra base hits out of 32 hits. So half of his hits have gone for extra bases. It's a 250 isolated power, which is slugging percentage minus batting average. And the league average is around 150, so 100 points higher than that. And his batting average on the season is 333. The on-base percentage is 398. The weighted runs created plus is 170, meaning he's been 70% above league average offensively. And also, he's a good base runner, and also he makes really good plays in center. Like, he's a legitimately good center fielder. We saw a diving catch in a game recently, heads up double play. I think it was today. So Jung Hoo Lee, he also doesn't strike out. Like, his strikeout rate is way below major league average. It's just 13%. Walk rate is above average at 10%. this guy, I'd like to joke, great signing by Buster Posey. No, it was a Farhan Zaidi signing. So let's just, credit where credit is due, even though Zaidi's not here anymore. This is looking like a really nice signing out of Korea, where it's like kind of a gamble. He had never played a major league game, and they gave him a $113 million contract over 6 years. He can opt out after the 2027 season. So you get at least this year and 2 more full seasons of Jung Hoo Lee, who is just 26 years old and just every day love his game. I just love his game. And it's, I'm thinking of buying a City Connect jersey, and it's probably going to be Jung Hoo Lee. I'm kind of waiting. Jung Hoo Lee, Webb, Adames, Chapman. There's a bunch of guys now you can choose from if you want to buy a jersey. Didn't even mention Bailey, who struggled a lot offensively this year, but still, a lot of guys suddenly. And this team, the 17-9 record shows it. Anyway, that is all the time we have for today. Thanks again for making Locked On Giants your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Once again, my name is Ben Kaspick. Check me out on Twitter or X at Ben Kaspick, Kaspick. If you like this show, please consider rating it or leaving a review. It helps me out tremendously. So thank you in advance, and thanks to everyone who's done so already. I can't wait to be with you again tomorrow. We're going to be getting into some mailbag questions, so look out on Twitter and YouTube for prompts this evening. So if you want to ask a question, we'll get to them tomorrow. Thanks again for listening today. You are now Locked On Giants.